Him. Hi guys, it's me Erica, and today I'm going to be sharing random anime recommendations for you guys, and you might be asking why? Why is this so random? It's because if you're like me and you're single, you probably want to spend your Valentine's Day doing something instead of crying over that fact, and instead cry about these 2D characters that you have no control of and will always be there for you even though they die. Well, that went dark, but yeah. So a lot of these animes are actually animes that might be unknown or like have already seen their prime time and not really publicized as much. So the first anime I'm actually going to be talking about is Air Gear, and Air Gear is actually one of my favorite anime of all time. I don't know, it's probably because it's one of the ones I really got into after like that Naruto phase that everyone goes to the first time around, and it was the first one I wrote a fanfiction for, so I guess that's why I really like it. And the manga is really good too. It continues the anime, but what really started me was the anime, and the anime tells the story of Minami, and he is like the adopted brother of these this family of sisters who are the Noiyamo sisters. I don't want to butcher that name, but I think that's Noiyamo. And he's a pretty, like, you know, your typical high school person, I guess. He really is perverted. He doesn't do well in school, and like he doesn't really pay attention and just like messes around with his friends. But then one day he sees this girl that's like the most prettiest girl he's ever seen rollerblading, or what they call there in their world, air trekking. And in order to impress her, he tries to air trek too. So he finds that the sisters have air treks and he steals them, and he gets into this whole big mess. And then he finds out that the sisters that he's been living with for like almost all his life are actually part of an air trek team that is was and kind of is still the ruler of the whole system of it. And he also finds out that he has this really high class ability of being one of the highest kings, that was Sky King, and that starts his journey of trying to make a team and finds his way to that. The only problem with the anime is that it's only like 24 episodes and it doesn't really get you anywhere, but it gets you to the starting point of the manga, I guess, which is like 200 plus chapters. I still haven't finished reading them, but the anime is really good. But the only thing is that this anime is actually the most raunchy of the animes because it has a lot of profanity and nudity, so if you're not into that stuff then probably don't watch it. But it is really funny, and I shouldn't be able to talk because I watched this anime when I was like 10 and I probably shouldn't have. So the next anime I'm going to be talking about is how to say the English name, is The Devil's a Part-Timer. And this was one of my favorite animes too of the, I think it came out last summer, and it was basically the story of Satan, not the one, I mean technically he's from the Bible, Satan, but it's a different take on it. So basically Satan is trying to take over this fictional world called Entei, I think it's what it's called, and he's almost struck down by the hero. So in order to save his life and save his partner's life, is he travels to another dimension, which ends up being modern day Japan, and he doesn't really know what's going on until he's taken to the police station, where he finds out this is an Entei island and there's no magic in this land, even though he still has some of his magic. So in order to find a way back to regain the land he was trying to conquer, he tries to live in our world to survive and find out a way. But after a while he starts to realize that they need money, and money just doesn't grow on trees. So he ends up getting a part-time job at a fast food place that is technically McDonald's, and he tries to work off the loans until he can find a way to go back to his world. And it is really funny, and a lot of the characters from Entei Island come to the modern day Japan, and they get sucked into that living in our modern day too. So another one of the animes I recommend is Kurigahime, or Princess Jellyfish. Princess Jellyfish. And for you guys that are watching this, don't be thrown off by the name thinking it's like a really girly, like magical girl kind of anime, because it's not. It's actually a really good anime. And when I heard people talking about this, like probably when it first came out, I was like, what's so good about this anime? It's called Princess Jellyfish. Oh my god, is there like something I'm missing? And then I actually started watching it and I found out it was really good. I finished the whole anime in one day because it was just that good. So it basically tells the story of Tsukimi, who's obsessed with jellyfish, hence the name Princess Jellyfish. But as she grows up, she finds out she's more of that kind of hikikomori. She's like secluded from society and she doesn't really like to talk to anyone except the group of friends that she lives with, who shares that common like bond, not with jellyfish but with other subjects. Like one of them like is obsessed with trains, another is obsessed with old men for some reason, and another one is obsessed with samurai. And so they all live together thinking that the outside world, anyone that's beautiful, it does not belong in their group and they're the enemy. And I could kind of relate to that because I'm not really that kind of person that like goes out there. I don't know, it's really hard to talk to like people unpopular. There's one day she goes to a animal shelter, not animal shelter, like an animal aquarium thing where you buy like fish and stuff, and she sees that there's a jellyfish that is not properly taken care of. So, but she, being the person she is, she doesn't know how to tell the person that's taking care of it properly, so she gets into this huge awkward fight and is saved by this woman who is the enemy. They consider the enemy. She's the most beautiful woman, and after a while, the girl that helps her goes back with her to the house where she lives with all her other kind of anime kind of friends, to find out the next day that the person was wearing a wig and the girl that was staying with her is actually a guy who likes to cross-dress, even though he's not like gay. It's just like he likes to cross-dress. And then a whole trouble ensues after that. So the anime I'm going to be talking about now is Scrap Princess, and I don't think a lot of people actually heard of Scrap Princess, but I might be wrong. It's one of those early 2000s kind of anime, and I really liked it as a kid. So yeah. So the story tells of Pacific Kasul, who is actually a princess to the distant future of Earth, but she was supposed to be dead by the time she was born because she's part of a prophecy that says that once she reaches age 16, she'll destroy the world because she's the poison that the world is going to be given, and then all life will cease to exist. But unfortunately, she doesn't die after she is said to die, because then she lived. She lived, but she gets adopted by this family, the Kasuls, who know of her prophecy, but they can't bear to kill a girl, so they just raise her by herself. And as she ages almost to that time of 16, her two adoptive siblings, Shannon, who's a guy for some reason, Shannon and Raquel, are traveling the earth trying to find a cure or some other way that she can live and not. So the second to last anime I'm going to be talking about is called Squid Girl, and Squid Girl I just found randomly because I was bored and I needed something to watch, and it was on Netflix, so I watched it. And there's actually 2 seasons, so if you like it that much, if you really like the first season, you have the second season to look forward to. So Squid Girl tells the story of a girl from the sea called Squid Girl, and she tries to take over, she wants to take over the world, but she ends up on the beach on the Lemon Beach house owned by the Aizawa siblings, and they don't take much threat to her because they think she's just like another girl from costume, because she is a little girl, so it's not really much of a threat. And with her trying to take over the world, she accidentally causes a hole on the lemon beach house, and of course the siblings are like, you need to pay for that, so she starts working unwillingly to this beach house, but she eventually warms up to them, and a lot of crazy things and occurrences happen both in the first and second season. So it's a very like comedic anime. So the final anime I'm going to be talking about is Skip Beat, and Skip Beat was actually a very hyped up anime in the 2007s, and I watched it back when it was so new, I guess. The first episode and I didn't really like it because the main character was really cringing, but after watching past the first episode to the second one after in the current winter break, so it's like, how many years was that? Probably like 8 years ago, I started it again, and it's actually really good, and I watched it in like a whole week, and there's like 24 episodes, and I was like, oh wait, this is really good. And so the story tells of Kyoko Mogami and how she wants to get up to stardom, because Kyoko Mogami in the first episode, how I was talking about her being cringing, she was a dedicated fan of Fuwa, who was a childhood friend. She even like did everything for him. She made money for him, cooks for him, just it's more like a servant rather than a friend. And later in the episode, it reveals that Sho is only doing this just for the caring aspect of Kyoko, like just like kind of like a servant, and he really doesn't think of anything but her, but a servant. So in order to get back at Sho for rising into fame after she gave up her whole life for this guy that's actually a very big douchebag, she says, I'm gonna get back at you, and the only way I can get back to you is if I become a celebrity too. So she ends up doing that and she ends up not doing that. She is on her road. She goes on her road to becoming a celebrity in order to take him down. And yeah, that's a good end. I don't want to spoil the rest things. She takes him down is like the last thing of this video. So I hope you guys watch these animes over the Valentine's Day, or even past that, or just watch any anime in the Valentine's weekend if you're not doing anything like me. And I'm probably just going to be studying and watching anime because I'm oh no, this video got really awkward, but thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye!